Welcome to today's video, guys. Today we are going to be covering a topic that I get questioned about all the time, which is how did I learn to work on my car, what tools do I use to work on my car, and how am I able to do this in my garage. First things first, none of this was able to happen overnight, obviously. This was probably about 3 years of, learning and working on cars. I still have so much to learn, like I say in every video, but this is just going to be my knowledge of, basics and things that I think you need if you're trying to do the same thing and you're trying to learn to work on your car. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is giving you a run through of my entire toolbox, showing you what I have, what I think are my favorite tools, what you guys should probably be picking up if you're just starting and want to get into it, and a cost-effective way to do it all, because some people have thousands of dollars to just blow on Snap-on stuff when you don't really need all that. You just need to go find some tools that work, and there's plenty of them out there. Alrighty, so here is my Craftsman toolbox. It is a two-piece, so there's this bottom part and there's also the top. I got this whole thing for like 200 bucks. When I got it, it was all beat up and black, rusted. I sanded everything down, primered it, painted it blue, and what toolbox isn't complete without some nice decals on there? Let's get it. Now we're gonna jump into the actual tools inside the toolbox. So, first thing I need to recommend, magnetic trays. These things are a lifesaver. I don't know why it took me so long to get these. These have changed everything. Whenever you're working on cars, how many times you just set bolts to the side, they're gone, you never have to worry about that ever again. Put them in your little magnetic tray. You can put this on anything. I mean, if you're working on your car, you set that down, it's magnetic, it's not gonna fall. You can put all your bolts. I think these things can hold like up to 15 or 20 pounds, maybe more. Anyway, I've never had them fall over ever, and I've put a ton of stuff in there. Next thing is gonna be a magnetic wand. You always need one of these just to, grab stuff. This thing extends out to like 30 inches. So you can get into the hard to reach places, and it is absolutely phenomenal. Now we are going to go to one of my most used drawer, if not the most used drawer. This is where I keep all my sockets. Got some gloves because you never know when you need some heavy duty gloves when you're working on things. A lot of times I like to use these latex gloves just because you can feel things better through them, where these are a little bit more bulky, so if you're working on a heavy duty type deal, those are great. This was like a godsend when I bought this thing. I think it was like 150 bucks or so. It came with a battery. It also came with a drill that I'll show you guys later. This took so much time off of every project I did just because it's so much easier to sit there and just go rather than cranking a ratchet. You save so much time with this. So for 150 bucks to save yourself so many headaches, this was another thing. I don't know why it took me so long to get. It is an awesome purchase. Again, you don't need it, but it will save you so much time. Next, you got, I have a whole bunch of sockets. These trays, $10, get them, they will save your life. Super easy, everything's labeled, you never have to worry. You can easily tell if something is missing. And I have both shallow sockets and deep, because there's plenty of times that you can't fit a deep one, you need the shallow socket. And vice versa. This is standard. This is like what you need. Get a shallow set and a deep set and you're good. We could cut this video right here and I could tell you, buy a tray, shallow, deep, and this guy, and you would be at maybe a little under 200 bucks and you could do literally everything. The next thing that is a great addition is getting some of these wobble head sockets. These things save your life so many times just because bolts are in hard to reach places and you always need to have a little different angle. So these are awesome. I love them. Use them all the time. This is just an old set of, there's like standard and metric, very small or 1/4 inch size. So I don't know, you use them every once in a while. This came with a little kit, which I'll show you in a second, just a regular. This was like my starter ratchet. Use that all the time. Then this guy has 1/4 inch and 3/8, so this is very versatile. I don't use it much anymore, but in the beginning I used to use this all the time just because I could bring this out and my socket set and I could go, and whatever size I needed, it would work. Got some extensions over here. You always need extensions. Again, that's one of those things, when the time comes, go get one. Over here I have a whole bunch of different adapters for, going from 1/4 inch to 3/8, 3/8 to 1/2 inch to 3/8, vice versa, all that stuff. These work great. I use them all the time. Bunch of various sockets. These ones are all standard for the most part, or some of them are metric. I don't really use these, they're just kind of extras. I use all of these right here. Over here, I have the 1/4-inch sockets, kind of miscellaneous. I never really bought a kit. I very rarely use any 1/4-inch, but when I do, I have them. The only one I use all the time, the 8, especially working on the Coyote, there was a ton of 8 mils. So you get those, you get your little adapter from 3/8 to 1/4-inch, and bam, you're in business. Right here, I got some 1/4-inch ratchets. This one, I hate the tool. I love the concept. This tool is awful. I bought it at Home Depot. If you can get a snap-on 1/4-inch wobble, I'm sure it would be a lifesaver. Moving on to the next drawer. This is the wrench drawer. So I bought this set of ratcheting wrenches. These are great to have. I would definitely recommend, instead of buying a traditional wrench set, get a ratcheting set, because they work so much better and it will save you so much time. There's really no reason to even have the standard ones. I've never found a time where you need that. These have worked for me always. Next, you just got some little vice grips. So you never know when you need to grab something, hold the dear life out of it. These are great to have. Also, crescent wrenches, you always need these. I use these all the time. Definitely would recommend at least pick up one of them. It's like $1. These things are super cheap. All right, and as we move into this drawer, these are all my hand tools. I would definitely recommend getting yourself a nice screwdriver set. These ones, like, this is nothing fancy really. So I bought this at Home Depot. It has all these different attachments on here, and you would just pull this out of here and swap it out for whatever head you need. This is a ratcheting screwdriver, so you can adjust it here and it'll turn both ways. So this is awesome. Comes with all these tops as well. These I never really use. This I never really use. This I use all the time. This is like $3 at AutoZone. You can pick off any type of pin or anything that's in, like when you're pulling out the inside of a car, when you're pulling out the little tabs for fender liners. This works great. Also, just for anything you gotta like kind of pry out, works awesome. This is a little chisel. I actually bought this to use as a pry bar back in the day, and you can tell it's got some bend to it because I have warped the hell out of it. Standard Phillips head screwdriver. This guy has got me out of a lot of shitty situations. I use this more often than I would think. So getting one of these really small is a great purchase as well. Little picks. You can use these on so many different things. I use them all the time just for various reasons. Once you have them, you use them. Before you have them, you never use them. You never really have a need to use them. These ones from Husky though, I honestly wouldn't recommend because they have like broke. The head of that is totally ripped off. Sockets for my lug nuts, and this is my coilover adjustment. Flashlight, and down here we go. This is like a specialty drawer. So I have all my Torx bits. You use these a lot with cars doing like the interior. They use a ton of Torx bits. So I got a set from Harbor Freight. All the Harbor Freight stuff is dirt cheap. It's like maybe $10 or $15 for this set. So not a bad pickup at all. And then you have the whole set for whenever you need it for anything you're doing. First time I ever stripped the hell out of a nut. You got to get a nut out. I've used this kit one time because I learned my lesson. I have not stripped a nut since. Need to find some wood to knock on. I need to get a set of the 12-point sockets, but these are the only two I have. It's like a size 11 and 12. The only reason I have both is because I think I bought the 12 and I needed an 11. So then I had to go back to the store because I'm an idiot. We have a Allen socket set. These ones work great. If you can get the ones that have a little ball on the end like this, that is the dream. That leads us right into our next thing, getting these Allen keys. I should have bought these a very long time ago. I'll show you the kit that I had before the Adam, and it was just such a pain. So the fact that these are all labeled, like it tells you exactly what's what, very easy to use. Metric and standard. And right here we got all of our pliers. So I got the really long needle nose and the long curved ones. These are both awesome. These are by far my most used ones in this drawer. Zip ties, because you need zip ties on everything. I live by zip ties. If you watch the rest of my videos, you know that I just love zip ties. And then I have a 6-piece kit from Harbor Freight. A whole bunch of different pliers. These little nippers are the ones that I use the most. These are like worn to shit. The thing with Harbor Freight tools is if you plan on using it a lot, they're gonna wear out quickly. If you use it a time or two or every once in a while, they work great. But if you like are gonna abuse the hell out of it like I do to these, you should invest in getting some good ones. Then I got electrical pliers. And then I got butt connectors right here. Don't really use these very often. I think the last time I did was when I was putting the Spec D headlights on the FRS. And down here, notepad, because you never know when you need to write stuff down. I've actually used this for the first time recently when I was taking all this apart so that I can make notes of where everything goes and keep things organized. Sharpies and a paint pen are a must because you need to make marks on things, you need to write stuff down all the time. Paint pen to let you know if you torque stuff down. Well, that's what I do. I give it a little dot if I torqued it. If it's not dotted, it's not torqued. So don't drive the car. A nice breaker bar. I think I got this at Home Depot a long time ago. Works awesome. Never had a single issue with it. You need one of these because you need a breaker bar for just about everything when you're doing anything car related. So that was probably one of my first purchases along with like that socket set in the beginning. Then I have a 1/2-inch torque wrench that I use. This one, it just has a higher torque rating, I think. So this goes to 150. This one is 3/8 and it goes to 80. I used to use this little junky tire pressure gauge. Then I bought this one. This works great. I also just like love the aesthetic of it. It looks awesome. Very easy to read. There's no like, you know, guess and check, so yes. Then I have race car keys for the car that doesn't drive anymore, but I mean, it's there. And I also use this drawer to like kind of keep souvenirs of different shit. This was from my lower control arm in the rear, and I had to use something to push this out. I was using this AutoZone like push tool to try and get a bushing out. And they said you should put like a socket or something on there to push. So I was, and the socket got stuck. And I remember I was doing this for like an hour, and it finally came out. So I just thought it was funny, and it always reminds me of that time. I don't know. I like to keep things from like bad things or good just because it reminds you like, hey, I had an issue. I overcame it. Now the new part's in there. Like, this is a victory souvenir, you know? Back when I broke my splitter, that was fun. If I didn't keep part of my fucking boxer engine block after it blew up, I mean, what kind of man would I be? So, this is part of the boxer engine. Kept the part where it was stamped, so I thought that was pretty cool. And the last drawer here, I got my Dremel. I bought this years and years ago. It still works great. I use it all the time. I mostly just use it to cut things. I have this huge set of cutting wheels, so I use it all the time. Next, I got my drill, and this was the one that came in a set with that. It also came with one of those chargers. Then back here, these get used all the time. Little step bits. Pretty much any time I put anything on the drill, I use a step bit. I don't really know why, but this is a very easy way to make it all work. And then I just have some of the drill bits. These are like the Cobalt ones. They're supposed to be like the strongest ones you can possibly buy. These are from Ryobi. They're not good. I'm like, look at this one. It's snapped in half. And I almost forgot the speaker. Use that every time. That is a must for any project. You gotta have a speaker. You gotta have your charger as well. That wraps up this. Now, let's go down here. Alright, this is my new favorite drawer. Remember how I was saying this is my go-to drawer? So this was up until like 2 days ago when I got my new Impact. I don't know why this took me so long to get. The Milwaukee, it's a stubby Impact, so it's a lot smaller than like the full gun. Funny story about this Impact. So I bought it on Amazon because Home Depot didn't have it in stock when I went. And when I bought it, I didn't realize I bought 1/2 inch, not 3/8. I wanted 3/8. So when it came in and I opened it up, I was kind of bummed out. I wanted to return it, but then I thought, well, I already have a full 3/8 set, and I have a 3/8 ratcheting wrench. Why don't I just buy a whole 1/2 inch Impact set? So I picked up this entire Impact set that goes from 9 to 30. So I can't even fit it all on this rack. Got my 9s there, 30s here. These are a bunch of old ones for miscellaneous things I had bought, like just random sizes, 5/16. I'll probably never use this again. Maybe I will, who knows. And back here, that was my first impact set. It was from Harbor Freight. There was like size 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17. It was very scattered, so this looked hideous. It also came with a whole bunch of extensions. So there's like a super long, I think this is like a 14-inch, 10-inch, a 4-inch, and a 3-inch. So it came with this little swivel, which is freaking awesome because then you can put any of those shallow sockets, or deep, on here, and then you have a swivel socket for every size. So instead of actually buying the kits that are already preset, you just get your socket, throw it on here, boom, and you're good to go. Next, I bought an impact adaptation set just because you don't know if, I can't use any of these for some reason. I have to use some of my 3/8 ones. I can just throw an adapter on there and get it done. So this drawer looks very simple, but I'm going to use this drawer more than anything in my life. We're getting to the end, guys. Are you excited? This drawer really is just random. This is like almost a junk drawer. So a whole bunch of different tape. There's like painter's tape. I have some reflective tape that I used to use on my car all the time. Double-sided 3M tape, electrical tape, regular tape, a little sanding block, some flares in case I ever need to let someone know where the hell I am. If like I'm gonna die and I need a helicopter to come pick me up while I'm working on my car, I can set a flare and they'll be able to find me. Isn't that awesome? A whole bunch of clamps. I have never actually got a chance to use these working on cars. I used to use them when I was younger. Like I used to make my own tech decks out of wood and shit, and I used to use those to like hold the frame. But I haven't used them since, so who knows. I might use them someday, though. I feel like they have a great purpose. They're great to have around. I just don't find myself using them very often. Have some C-clamps. Again, that was one of the things I used to use all the time. Got some sparkly scissors. I should probably like not admit to owning these, but I don't know. They're there. Might need them. Skateboarding tool. Sometimes you got to bust out a quick little kick flip. That was first try too, just so you guys know, so put some respect on my name. After you do your kickflip, you might need to cut a hoe, so you need scissors. Sharpies, again, I just have more of them. A pen, you never know when you need it. This I use, actually, for scraping off silicone. So I used it a lot when I was taking this apart, just because you find little stuff and you gotta, like, get it off. So this works awesome. It's like $1. JB Weld, because you need that if you get an exhaust leak. Some gasket maker, because after you rip off all your silicone, you need some new stuff, so you put that on there. Alright, down here, okay guys, hang on. I've been boring you to death for the past, like, I don't know, this is probably a long video. It's probably been 7 minutes of me boring you to death. Pay attention, okay? Eyes and ears. Okay, so you see these? These are on every hose in a car, okay? Okay, these are the fucking devil. I don't know why. Well, no, I do know why. I hate them. I hate them very much. They're a pain to get off. You can you'll sit there and you always bash your fingers up because you're trying to grip these things with pliers and then you're trying to slide it off and it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then you accidentally let go, a little bit of pressure, and the thing just springs out and it clamps down again. You got to do it all over again. It's fucking stupid. Oh, cool. What's the solution? Boom, worm gear clamps. Get these. These are awesome. You get a little flathead screwdriver or you get like an 8mm socket. You loosen it up. Boom, it doesn't ever recollapse. You slide it where you need it to go and you're done. Then when you're ready to tighten it again, you just like slide it back. I know, this sounds crazy. You slide it back and you tighten it down as tight as you can. And then you're done. That seems too easy to be true, huh? So yes, get these. I just picked up a set so that I could do everything on this new motor with these worm gear clamps. So both sizes, because you need them both. Over here, I have some bushings that actually need to go into the FRS. These are mounts for like cameras and GoPros and whatnot. This is another very good thing you need to buy. So I bought this little organizer for like maybe 15 bucks. And you can organize all your bolts, everything. You'll never lose anything again. I have them all labeled, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14s. Miscellaneous stuff right here. Pins here. A bunch of screws right here. And washers here and nuts here. So if you ever find yourself losing something or you need an extra nut, bolt, whatever it might be, you have something, because you always will have extras of something. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the end of the toolbox. Here's the final drawer. This is like just any and every utility tool that I've had to buy. Heat gun, use it fairly frequently, probably more than you would think. So it's always good to have around. I have a bunch of plastic tubing. This is like gardening tubing. These are like $1 a piece. Use these for bleeding brakes. They work awesome. You can just hook it right on your caliper, then connect the other end to your tub that you're draining your brake fluid in, and then when you're pumping the brakes, it just works great, and it's very clean, no mess, perfect. And down here we have my first drill. This was my Ryobi drill. This is where I got kind of those kits for. This worked decent, and the Milwaukee one blew it away. Got a regular hammer. This one has a steel head, so that you always need. A rubber mallet, definitely. Rubber mallets are life. You don't want to damage things with the steel head. Rubber is safe on pretty much every single surface that your car has. Aside from the paint and the actual body of the car, don't hit your car. It's a good car. It's a good car. It's not a bad car. Down here we got a big pry bar. You use this all the time for different things. I need to get a snap-on set because I use it way too much, and Miles has a great snap-on set that I want to get. These pumps are awesome for when you're trying to get the fluid from like one of the little canisters into your transmission, into the diff or anything, and you're like sitting there trying to pump. You just put this right into the actual fill area, and then you just start pumping, and it takes everything out. Super clean, no mess, and works great. Down here I have a little soldering iron. So I use that from time to time. I haven't used it in a while, but there definitely is plenty of times that you need it, and it comes in handy very often. Right here, I have my tap and die kit. I would open it up and show you, but there's only one side that can be opened, or else it makes a giant mess, and I always get it wrong, and I don't want to make a mess right now, so I'm not going to open it up. These are great for when you strip bolts and you need to rethread it. Then whenever something bad happens during your project, you are set. You have this, and you have your nut extractor tool, so you can get literally any problem you get in, you can get out. Then last but not least, I have my plastic welder. I used this when I was like destroying my bumper on my Mustang all the time, and I would weld the bumper back together, and it worked like actually a fair amount. Wouldn't really recommend getting yourself in that situation, but I hope I never have to use it again, but if I do, I have it. So that wraps it up for my toolbox. That is everything I use, everything that I need for working on my car and getting a motor out of a car. Like, that is everything. So if you want to do that, you want to, you know, try and take your stuff to the next level. Hopefully you found some of the stuff in there interesting and tools that you might see they fit in your life. However, like I said in the beginning of the video, this stuff costs a lot of money to get to that point. And I haven't even like touched the surface of what some of these people, some of the toolbox tours that are on YouTube, like, this is not shit. But this works for me and it does the job, and I've spent what I've spent. I'm definitely gonna spend more on tools because there's always more you can buy, and that's why these people get to this level. Everyone's gotta start somewhere. Now, I'm not saying you start right here, because you don't. This was my first toolbox I think I ever had. It's now my roommate's, so this is all his stuff in here. But like, just something little. You can keep, let's say if you bought the stuff I told you to buy, if you buy that electric ratchet, you buy a battery, you have the charger, you have your socket set, you can fit all that in here and you're good. So that would work. Next, get yourself one of these. So this is a kit. I have a bunch of the stuff actually in my toolbox right now. Like, the ratchets are in there right now. Some of the sockets are in there as well. But this has a full socket set. It doesn't have a ton, but it has enough to like start you. You get that, you have some ratchets, you have a screwdriver, you have some of the screwdriver attachments, you have Allen keys. I mean, this is a great kit. This is like 30 bucks. I think I bought this at Lowe's a while back. So it works great. It's super cheap. This is an awesome way to start. And then if you want to move up a little bit more, you can get yourself one of these. This is actually my track toolbox, so whenever I go to the track, I take this because it's very easy to load it in the car. I mean, something like this is absolutely awesome. This was like my toolbox for a long time, up until maybe 3 months ago when I bought this. So this is great. I mean, you can hold everything you need, and then you just have the rest of the stuff sit off to the side. But it's a great portable toolbox, works for everything. So I would definitely recommend doing something like that if you want to like kind of get into it, but you aren't willing to like full send into something like this just yet. So that covers all of the toolbox stuff. Now it's time to get into the part of the video where I'm going to tell you how I got to where I am with working on cars. I think the biggest thing that I can tell anyone that's trying to get into working on their car, they want to learn about cars, you have to experience it, you have to expose yourself, and you have to be willing to make failures. If you ask any of my friends, tell me what you think about Cole working on his car, they will tell you 100%, all of them will be like, oh, he's like really ballsy, but he doesn't really know what he's doing most of the time. Like, he'll just go for it. Which is 100% true. And I've made countless mistakes. That's why I have these tools to like, they're like fuck up tools. Like after you make a mistake, you pull the oh shit handle, and then you like go to these other tools to try and fix what you already messed up. So I've done it so many times, and now like my ratio is really going down. I'm starting to understand things and think more rationally when I'm doing things, think in order. But you aren't born with that information. You don't know this stuff. So the only way to learn and the only way to get there is by doing it, and doing it over and over and over again, and making mistakes and learning from them and not making the same mistakes twice. I would just recommend for anyone, if you want to get into it, just go for it. Like, buy your socket set, buy a ratchet, start working on it, watch tons and tons of YouTube videos, because that's where you're going to learn the most. Like, this guy knows about the struggle and like trying to learn, because he learned kind of the same way I'm learning right now, blowing a motor and tearing it apart and trying to like do everything. So he's got like tons of information, and he's been able to help me through this more than any YouTube video will ever tell me. Like, he's taught me everything that I've needed to know to get to this point. I think another big point too is like, it's never gonna go like the YouTube video you're watching goes. It's never that smooth. There's parts that they don't show you where their socket snaps in half, and they have to spend 2 hours going to Home Depot to get a socket, and then that one comes home and they snap that one. Like, stuff happens every single time. If you ever worked on a car, you know that it doesn't ever go smoothly. There's always something that goes wrong, or, well, his doesn't look like this in the video, mine looks like this, and there's no information on it. What do I do? And you have to like try and figure it out. Eventually, you end up finding out what the issue is, and now that won't happen to you ever again. If that happens to someone else, you can tell them, oh yeah, that happened to me. I grabbed this tool and pried it this way, and then it worked. So just to reiterate, guys, I sound like a broken record right now, but at the end of the day, just go for it. Whatever it is, whether it's you learning how to work on your car, just go for it. You going to the track, just go for it. You want to go get a job, go for it. Whatever it is, just do 110% with everything you do in your life, and it will work out for the best for you. Whether it's just being a good person to others, like be the best person you can be every day. Challenge yourself, and you will grow. And I think that's what it's all about here. It's more than just cars. It's more than just working on your cars. Like, it's a life concept. So that's where we're going to end today's video, y'all. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment down below of what you think. If you enjoy the tools, if you enjoy the little message that I'm bringing here, I appreciate the feedback. Also, if you stayed this long, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out. Also, leave a comment down below of what you want to see in the future, any video ideas. I want to give you guys videos that you guys want to watch. I feel like recently the views have really been going down, and based off what I'm doing right now, like, I would assume people want to see this, but I guess not. So I don't really know. I'm going to continue to make the videos because I make them for myself, and I enjoy it, and I want to be able to look at this in 15 years from now and be like, holy cow, that's what I was doing. So yeah, but leave a comment what you guys want to see, and I will make videos for you, I promise. Peace out, y'all, and be sure to work more and talk less. See ya.